Torm.
Hey everyone. This is game 1.
Yeah, this is a big one. So just to get a few housekeeping things out of the way, I guess. So this is all skills NMGs, it says in the bottom. And all skills is basically getting all upgraded spells, all movement abilities, all nail arts, and then beating the game. So that's the THK ending. And our first runners are Mudpip and slaurent. And yeah, this should be a pretty good race.
Yeah, so this run takes, the record is just about 50 minutes. It's just under 50 minutes. So it's, 20, or what is that, 17 minutes longer than 80%. These should be significantly shorter than the rando runs that you may have seen. We did that tournament, probably ended like half a year ago now, maybe a little less. But the other thing is they'll be a lot more consistent. So these races should take, it'll depend on the runners, but real time somewhere between an hour and, I don't know, what would you say, like an hour 20? And it shouldn't go too far outside that range, whereas rando could technically go, and sometimes it did go, like the full 3 hours that we had for the time slot, just because rando can absolutely destroy scheduling.
Yeah. Flashbacks to the GDQ hotfix where it was like, oh yeah, we have 2 races scheduled to take a total of 3 hours, and the first one was like 3 hours 20. It was pretty bad, but yeah, these should pretty consistently be hitting a time, and that'll actually only get better as the tournament goes on, just as runners get better and more consistent dealing with like tournament pressure.
Yeah, people said, the same kind of thing happened during the 80% tournament too, where there's been a huge influx of people playing all skills now, and I'm sure it'll continue throughout the tournament. There's been crazy amounts of runs and improvements, so that's kind of what we like to see from these tournaments. It's like encouragement for people to actually, grind.
Yeah, we were just talking about it actually. So when the tournament was first announced, the world record was, I want to say 50-12 or 50 minutes flat. And then 10th place was 54-15 by Coral. So now world record is that 49 by Monster, and 10th place is now a 53-04 by Sour. And that 54-15 that was 10th place is now 23rd. So it gives you an idea of just how much the quality of runs has gone up. And that'll sort of only continue. But I think we're, about ready.
Yeah, we're 2 minutes past the hour, so I pinged them both. We'll be doing the countdown manually. It'll be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Something to note is there is a mod in here. There's exactly one mod they're using, which is a load normalizer. All right. Insomnia's going to be counting down in a sec. So in theory... Oh my god. This is the wrong channel. Can you count down?
Yep.
Yeah. So in theory, we'll never have to change. We'll never have to pause or unpause like we had during the 80% tournament. The 80% tournament we did entirely without mods. This tournament we were able to get away with doing, again, that one mod. And the nice thing about that is, we wanted to change the restreaming. And we also decided in SRCom discussion that these will be allowed on the leaderboard. So even though there is this one mod, it's decided this is the only mod that you can have. So if people do PB during this, even though there is that one mod, it can go on the leaderboards, which should be really fun. I think we'll probably see a lot of PBs this tournament. There are just so many runners and so many races, it's almost inevitable.
And so many new runners to the category as well, because a lot of people that mainly ran 80% and had really good times in 80% have now transferred over to all skills due to the tournament, because there was a tournament, so it was the hot new category everyone was learning. There was 82 runs when tournament was announced, and now there's over 100, and there's 52 entrants. And when you consider how many inactive runners are on the boards and how many people that ran it formerly aren't entered, it gives you an idea of just how much of a growth it's gone through.
Yeah, I think it's easily fair to say most of the active runners are in the tournament, which is an understatement. It's probably, I don't know, something like 90% of the active runners are in this tournament, I'd say.
You can probably count on one hand the really prominent runners that aren't in the tournament.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the beginning of the game. This is the first race, like we said. There's going to be literally hundreds of races during this tournament. It should stretch, I don't know, that's a scary question to try and estimate, but a few months, question mark, more question
Well, it's
mark.
got softball set up, so
Yeah.
this is starting off as a pretty gamer race. But yeah, our goal time schedule for the tournament is less than rando. That's basically just the baseline.
Which is saying very little.
Yeah. Yeah, it should take 4 months, but we're just trying to beat 7.
A 53 and a 54 out of King's Pass. I don't think that will end up mattering too much. Also, I think you saw a difference in loads there. That's one of the things that can happen. The load normalizer minimizes your loads to at least 2 seconds. If you have a bad enough computer, and this dirt myth load is one of the longer loads too, it can take more than 2 seconds, which will mess with the restreaming time. But hopefully that doesn't happen too much. I kind of wonder if Mudpip has a 3-second load or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's catching up, though, in loadless time. It's about 5 seconds now, whereas it was about 10 seconds leaving King's Pass.
Yo, Mudpip goes for middle drop. Oh, I love Mudpip. But yeah, overall, unless they're two like really high quality, like 2 top 10, top 5 runners, I don't think Crossroads will matter too much. People tend to be pretty experienced unless we see a death. I think some of the big areas to watch out for during this are going to be the Hornet 2 fight. That can be very difficult for some runners. The Isthmus skips, which is known as like the hardest skips in all skills. And then I think a big one is going to be that whole stretch from Watcher's Spire to Dreamnail through Crystal Peaks. Because if you die there, and it's not too hard to die there, you are just ruined.
Especially because if you're doing fast cycles, there's so many damage tanks, especially because if you damage tank on the Glimback instead of doing Pogax because it's a tournament, so, you know, Pogax is scary, that's 1 damage. And then if you go for God Cycle and miss, that's 1 damage. If you go for the Lantern Pogo and don't do the God Gamer dash jump, that's 1 damage. Then there's 1 damage in the Sea Heart room to get the good laser cycle. Then there's 1 damage for that hazard respawn on dash slash, and that's 6 damage. So if you mess up at all and yeah, take that damage, then you might very well be running out of health.
Yeah, I think for this race especially, and I don't know how much runners have practiced races versus PBs, but for the all skills race, I think it's going to be very important to not go for a lot of those damage boosts or damage tanks in Crystal Peaks.
Yeah, losing 0.2 because you didn't do a damage tank is a hell of a lot better than losing 2 minutes because you died on the way to defeat up. Especially because right at the end, when you are probably on low health, you have a dark room and then a quite difficult platforming section, both of which are known to troll runners a bit and combo you for 2 damage.
So something we didn't mention earlier is how this tournament is going to play out. It is a Swiss tournament, which is a nightmare to explain, so I'd recommend you look up how a Swiss bracket works, like on Wikipedia or something. But what it does mean for the first round is the runners' seeds should be very different. So I don't know which of these two is actually higher seeded, because one of them in theory should be much higher seeded, but it's a pretty close time. I think Mudpip's ahead by something like 4 seconds or so.
I thought Pip didn't have a run submitted, to be totally honest.
That could be why. Yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah, in theory, again, I don't think this is how it'll actually play out, but in theory, these first round matches should be a much higher versus a much lower seed. But I think this race will actually be pretty close. This is a pretty good first race to get on the channel.
Yeah, there's a couple of unseeded players that probably should be seeded a bit higher, and unfortunately for slaurent, Mudpip is one of them. Fortunately for us, though, it should make a pretty close first race.
Yeah, so how the seeding works is the seeding is just based on your all skills PB. So if you have a lower time, you are a higher seed. So Monsto is the first seed, Pisces is the second, etc. If you did not have a time on the board at the time of seeding, you just got placed in the lowest of seeds. Not having a time is worse than having a 20 million hour time.
Yep, and slaurent getting the first hit boulder, meanwhile Mudpip just getting hit on the way and not getting first hit. 2. Alright, there we go. So it looks like slaurent's pretty comfortably taken the lead back, I want to say. Just that was a pretty rough room for Pip.
So you Pip benches. Pip's not going to bench before green path. Yeah, I think slaurent hit the lever.
4.
He's on 4. I mean, I think it's fine. I just think there's definitely an argument to be made for just do the safest things you possibly can everywhere during races.
Especially because the bench is literally on the way. It's 1.5 seconds for 1 HP, which is actually better than healing. And it's not like it fucks you up anywhere later. It's 0 soul. So I think for tournament, that's probably one of the things I'd want to see runners doing, especially early on. You're not going to win or lose by 1.5 seconds, but you are going to win or lose by 2 minutes if you die on it.
Yeah, so it's probably worth mentioning what they're doing here. There are probably people new to the category. We'll mention it less and less as the tournament goes on, but again, this is the first game. They're killing a boulder. There you go. Oh, 50%. Sad.
Yeah, they're going a bit more in depth than they're killing a boulder. The way that Vengeful Spirit works, because this game is poorly coded, is that it stops because boulders are programmed like a wall, but then it doesn't despawn because the game doesn't really like thinking when stuff's off screen. So it's like, yeah, we'll just hold it over here, and that causes your VS to hit 4 times because, again, well-made game. Later on in the tournament, it will be explained to the confusion of new viewers as the boulder has abandonment issues, so if you just leave it, it gets really sad and leaves.
Yeah, and that strategy only works in 1-2-2-1. Also, what they're doing here is a fireball skip. They're just turning around and trying to get the extra distance from the fireball. Pip gets it with 2 there. slaurent already made it. In current patch, this does not work. There is also a bracket for current patch. There's significantly fewer runners, but we are also going to be hosting that on this channel. So if they don't do it sometimes, it's probably because they're in current patch, not because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so the current patch ones, you'll be able to tell the difference straight from King's Pass because they won't open their menu to get control straight away. They'll just fall down and look really slow because that's basically how current patch works. But yeah, run good patch today, so it should be a good run.
Nice skip from Pip. So slaurent has a bit of a lead. slaurent got out of the Moss Knight room at about 7:01. From his pace, it looks like Pip's going to enter at about 7:01, maybe less if he feels to. So slaurent has about a room lead. Again, I don't know how much that's going to matter late game, but it is nice to develop that lead early game. It's a bit of comfort at the very least.
Yeah, there's definitely big time loss and time save opportunities later on, but you're also still never going to complain about an early time save. slaurent getting the really bad Moss Knight spawn here and just taking his time waiting for that right one to walk into frame. There's some sketchy stuff you can do when it's off frame with getting down there early and breaking the Geo Rocks and just minimizing time loss, but that can also lose you like 3 health. So for tournament, very good idea not to be doing that. And speaking of health, Pip is on 2 health going into the Moss Knights, whereas slaurent is going into on 4, so Pip kind of gonna have to play these Moss Knights safe. Thankfully he gets good spawn, so
yeah, that one almost hit him. Also, the Moss Knight's marking the very first thing that's different from any percent now. The all skills route and the any percent route are the same up until this Moss Knight.
VK, but you know.
Oh yeah, fair. The way you get Geo out is pedantic. Okay.
You even run any percent?
I used to. It's been a year. Alright, Pip's gonna go in at 2 health. slaurent finishes the fight at like 8:31, which is a good time. slaurent's still on 3 health. We'll see how Pip fares. Pip really can't afford to get hit early or he'll have to hit the whole fight so safe. Yeah, that's not good. He's scared. Okay, he should heal once here. Yeah, and he's going to heal once here. Just for safety, if you die to this Hornet fight, it is a long way back to last bench. For those who don't know, when you die or quit out, you're going to go back to the last bench or hard save that you sat on. For these winners, that's going to be Ancestral Mound. So a long walk back to Green Path. Pip dies to this, but he seems pretty safe on 3 HP, getting a 2 fireballs. Hornet should be, yeah. But
there we go. Yeah, so this is probably the single most detrimental death you can get, short of 2 deaths and losing all your geo. Just because you don't have dash yet, so you have to walk all the way back. Everywhere else, you at least get places a bit quicker.
I don't know, I feel like... Is Darkroom... Maybe. Darkroom seems like a really long death to take too. Darkroom Sea Peaks.
Yeah.
All Skills has a few of those places.
Darkroom Sea Peaks, you have Dream Nail at least, so you can go the bottom route.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Wait, no you don't.
Yeah, if you get Sea Dash, then you can go the bottom route through Sea Peaks.
Oh, you just need to get Dream... Yeah, fair enough. I see what you're saying.
Do you even run this category?
Marginally. I don't know, I've asked about like 2 soft locks, or 2 major glitches in the past week. Either way, right now what they're going to be doing is going to Fungal Waste to get Claw. This is also similar to any percent. Due to how the geo routing works out, you see they have about 300 geo now. They want a little bit more, so they're going to get a couple rocks here in Fungal. Slaurent's coming up to them right now. He's going to Fireball once, use Nail Hits to get the rest of this geo from these rocks. Slaurent has a pretty sizable lead here, 20 to 25 seconds. Pip just dunked.
Yeah. He dashed like halfway in the acid as well, so it looked like really sus.
Yeah, I think Pip's pretty new to all skills. A lot of these runners are, of course. But I think he's run a lot more 80%, which is why he had a very good VS time. I know he's been posting his VS times in the server recently.
Yeah, he started off as an Aluba runner, didn't he? Yeah, I know he did a lot of All Glitches meme categories as well. And he submitted the bloody 2-hour-long Aluba percent run that did, like, got Void Heart and then killed an Aluba.
Oh, it's so weird switching back to Discord. Yeah, so Slaurent had a kind of sketchy Mantis Pogo at the end there, but a nice save on it. The reason you see such a difference in these times, I don't think it's because of the load difference. I think it's just because Slaurent has gone through a lot more loads and quitouts. Does that make sense? Maybe that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the claw split, they're actually only 3 seconds apart in game time.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually... Yeah, I think next race for Pip will give him a 3-second load normalizer and his opponent.
There you go. So Pip makes 3rd car explosion program. Mudpip has 3 to 4 second loads, yeah. So generally this isn't a problem. It's going to be PC dependent. That's why we use loadless timers in the first place. Because real time is impossible. If we timed real time at a high level of this game, would just be who has the better computer. So Pip's gonna get Claw here a little past 11 minutes. It's good that he got Explosion Pogo. Explosion Pogo can be difficult. It's also nice that he does an Explosion Pogo without taking damage. If you miss it, or want to not try it, going around loses something on the order of like 25 seconds, I want to say. A pretty significant amount of time to not do Explosion Pogo.
Yeah. So for a second there, they're actually perfectly synced up in terms of in-game time. It's just that...
it's quite
like I said, Slaurent's gone through much more.
So we'll see what the gross mother kill is. Again, this shouldn't be a problem for the most part during the tournament. And if we know that this is a thing, for example, if we know that someone's loads are 3 or 4 seconds, we can just make the other person change their load normalizer. It's configurable. So they have at least that long of a load too.
Yeah, so to pass the first round, everyone will have an idea of how bad their computer is. So it shouldn't be an issue past like this race, and then just whoever has the worst computer decides what load normalizer people use.
So Slaurent is intentionally taking damage here. This is a Shade Skip. It's the same Shade Skip as an 80%. It's Dash Claw, except we don't even free slide.
Wow. I meant to say, wow, unfortunate there. Slaurent taking a death. Hopefully he's able to bounce back.
The first
able
race. So yeah, Slaurent go for it.
Yeah. As the tournament goes on, 80% of what we say is going to get less and less informative and more just talking trash on a mic for 2 hours.
Yeah, especially Insomnia Palm Company. There's no way you're getting any useful information out of this. I think it's like a 30-second difference right now. Slaurent bought Shaman at around 12:30, so maybe a little over a 30-second difference. Or around 12 minutes, 12:01. Roasting tournament, let's go. Dude, it's crazy to me when Slaurent does like the gate storage in that elevator. Because people are using strats found with him the last year and a half, which is just unfathomable. I don't think they're allowed to use new strats. There's also does Slaurent know the elevator thing? I still don't know what it's called. The thing that was recently allowed. Storage? Yeah.
Hope so, because that looks cool. Tom is actually a boomer.
Tom has all the boomer strats. I'm setting up the shade skip here. Slaurent already in city. He's going to start collecting more money. Okay. Another place. Me. Slaurent's fine on Geo. Another thing you can see is with the Geo reroute, there are hoppers in all skills now. So they used to kind of be a backup, but now you intentionally kill a bunch of hoppers on the way to Dash Slash and Kingdom's Edge. And that's kind of become a place that people can definitely die. Fortunately, it's not too much of a time loss. We'll just respawn back at the King Station bench. But it's probably on the order of half a minute to a minute, depending on where you die in Edge.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be dying in Edge, but that's never stopped us before. It's generally if you get hit by a Bellfly, and then everything can kind of spiral from there, just because they do 2 damage right at the start. But once runners sort of know what they're doing and get a bit comfortable with the movement, it should be okay. Touch wood.
Dude, Pip does vaulting swords too. I'm actually a boomer.
Remember at the any percent tournament where the boomer strats were like doing green path geo rocks instead of VK?
Oh yeah.
And now it's like elevator wall cling storage.
Yeah, so Slaurent's fine on Geo. I think we'll probably see in this tournament. I don't know. At least it happens to me. It can be scary if you're under 700 Geo here. It can kind of be a reset, but obviously in a tournament format you can't reset. It'll be interesting to see how people make up the money. And these are nice offers from Slaurent, so Slaurent not wanting to die in Kingdom's Edge for some reason.
Those are some very practiced looking hoppers actually.
Yeah.
So you want to be on at least 704 when you quit out from Gorgeous Husk. And that just means that you only need the 2 rows of hoppers, otherwise you're going to be killing extra stuff, and that's really sketch.
There's still time to die. Yeah, there's definitely still time to die. All the like high probability death things have not happened. That's what we're here for. So Dash Slash, we get Dash Slash early here so we can get into Shade Soul. Again, that only works on 1-2-2-1. We can just hit the lever through the door. A lot of what we're going to have for damage is we're going to go to Sanctum. We're going to get Shade Soul for Sanctum, and then we're going to get Dive from Sanctum and immediately get D-Dark. So a lot of the run you have with Shade Soul, D-Dark, and Shum.
Yeah, so Sanctum is one of those places where RNG can kind of just ruin your run. Obviously, in all skills, we normally just reset, but we can't do that here, so we might see some very weenie Sanctums, especially if Soulmaster decides that today's a great day to fake dive, and that any attack that you can get a double hit Shade Soul with is gone entirely out of fashion. But sort of it is what it is, and runners will just have to deal with that.
Yeah, and Sanctum is a pretty bad place to die too. The closest bench again is this King Station bench. We're on this King Station bench for a while. Sanctum does give a hard save, which is good, but obviously if you get the hard save, you've completed Sanctum, or at least the hard part of Sanctum. Slaurent
I'd
having
like to
some
see Slaurent bench here.
Yeah.
So because we hard save at Sanctum, we don't actually need to keep our bench at King Station, so we can take that one Inspire just as a bit of a safety, especially when you're taking damage on the lever skip there. And Slaurent kind of getting lost in the dark room, but he got through eventually.
Pip was 1 geo short and had to double back into an Aspid field, so now he's back to 1 HP. This is among the last few hoppers, though. Yeah, he doesn't.
All right, we're good.
Okay, he's fine.
That's just a warm-up for Peak.
That's not
going to be
a warm-up
that.
for Peak. Oh,
Yeah, it's a warm-up for Sanctum, which is a warm-up for Peak, which is a warm-up for Isma's skills, which is a warm-up for Morlurks, which is a warm-up for H2, which is a warm-up for Umu, which is a warm-up for
it's all good.
Hera.
Okay, it's getting easier now. Peak's like the hardest. I feel like Peak we're going to see the most deaths, to be honest.
I think Peak and people getting in their head for the Isma skips.
True. Yeah, the Isma skips, if you fail that spike tunnel, like each time you fail it is 1 damage. That can be, death very quick.
Yeah, and then if you heal because you're about to die, and then you don't have soul to Shade Soul the Worms at the last second C-dash, so then you get wombo comboed for 2 damage as well. Like, it's just a mean split. Once it goes wrong, it tends to go very wrong.
Yeah, so Slaurent is maintaining about a split lead now, which is pretty significant. Obviously, he is a little over half a minute ahead on the timer, so there's that to compensate. You saw him right then go into Shade Soul with Dash Slash. This is the easy part of Sanctum, so now we're going to see how much what are they called? Soul Twisters want to ruin his day.
Yeah, so we will see Shade Soul coming in handy here as well to let's get going through that room with the 2 Spell Twisters that can be quite mean. And we're just fighting the Soul Warrior here. We killed that one in 4 hits of Shade Soul and 4 nail hits. But we can double hit Shade Soul, so it can be done in as little as 2 casts and 4 nail swings. But getting those doubles is a bit tricky sometimes. And there will be 1 more lever skip here as well to skip the room we call Hell Room, because in the 1XX categories, that's what it is. It is just garbage, but we're able to skip it totally.
Yeah, we complain about Sanctum in all skills. It is so much worse in 1XX when you can't skip that room. You can get hit so much in that room for no reason.
Yeah, it's very mean, because it's 3 Spell Twisters, all of which love teleporting into you in your dash. It's just not pleasant.
Yeah, so Pip might make up some time on this split. It's hard to tell with the timer, but he did not bench at Watch Your Spire, and he had a lot less trouble with the Dark Room.
Slaurent also not having a great Soulmaster fight. He's not getting hit or anything, but he hasn't hit a single double.
It's pretty important that you don't get hit, I feel. Because, okay, so you don't get a heal after this. When you get dive, you aren't full healed, but you do get full soul. So if you need to, you can heal 3 times. Which is slow, because then you have to get soul for the next room, but at the very least there's some kind of safety after getting down.
Yeah. There's only 2 dives, so you can heal 1 and 2, and especially 3 health are pretty fine, because you have to bench at the Watcher's Spire bench. So that gives you a full heal there. Something to note is that we're going to be buying the King Station Stag soon, and that is 300 Geo. So Slaurent is on 231, so he's about on track to hit that. But Pip is really low. He was meant to get a lot of the Soul Twisted Geo, and he skipped that entirely. So even if he gets all 200 from this Soul Warrior, he's going to have to farm 95 on the way out of Sanctum, and he missed 6. So he's going to have to farm 101 Geo, which is a very big ask, like to the point of you just get the Soulmaster Geo chest.
Oh yeah, actually, you probably do get the Soulmaster Geo chest.
Right, we got 21 from that.
That's pretty good.
That works.
Pip knew what he was doing. Yeah, so chat's saying Pip is 44 seconds behind. That seems about right. again, that's nowhere near what a death in like half the map would lose. Dark Room, Peaks, Isma skips, whatever.
1.5 to 2 minutes is a general death estimate, unless you've benched like just then. But Pip's main geo loss was the first spell twister that you have to kill. Just he got a real left side spawn, so he didn't want to have to walk back and get the geo.
Yeah, that's spell twister messes with.
Dodging the start.
Yeah, he got the soul. It's better than me.
He got the soul, yeah. But he only got 1 hit from the 2 casts when you want ideally 4. Oh, Pip. This isn't Fury Soulmaster.
Yeah. The Soulmaster fight
running with 6.
Yeah, it's not too fast, and he's taking a lot of damage. Again, taking damage here. He can probably kill Soulmaster if he wants to get a second phase, but I don't think he does. Yeah, he'll heal 1 more time. Then he'll get to second phase with extra health. This is still pretty scary with 2 health, to be honest.
Especially because it's 6 nail swings and 2 shade souls. I'd probably like to see him do 9 nail swings and 2 shade souls, so he can get 1 extra heal in while the dive pickup spawns.
Let's be honest, Pip is racing for content.
He really is.
Oh god, okay,
big dive. Oh wow, he's actually gaming on us. Yeah, so he did exactly what I said.
So Slaurent has over 300 geo here. This is the end of the important part of the geo route. The rest you just get from Watcher's Chest. The 2 things that you need to be able to afford are Dash Slash and then this King Station stack. Pip at 220 is not the easiest farming, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you'll probably just kill these enemies Slaurent's going past now. And Janie pointing out that Slaurent is about 1 minute and 20 seconds ahead. So that's a pretty big lead, to the point that Slaurent's probably gonna just take these next few splits pretty comfy. If he's low on health, he'll just heal, because he sort of knows that the burden's on him to mess up, basically.
Okay. Yeah, it can get scary if you... What Pip just did there, he messed up the wall-cling storage and then messed up one of his wall jumps. If you get a mistake to spawn and then get hit by it, or you can't get really precise wall jumps, it can get very scary in that room. You can get hit a lot.
Yeah, the game attack is to not go for that wall-cling storage, to be honest.
That's why I don't go for it, actually.
Yeah. This is just that 1% of the time where the game attack and the boom attack are the same.
God, Pip was right next to the spikes in the elevator. I was terrified. Pip still has a little bit of surviving to do. Slaurent is on the split that is kind of the marathon split. So any health that Slaurent loses, he will not be able to make back for a long time. Because that bench at Watcher Spire that he sat at, we're going to quit out to that bench actually a lot later. So we cannot take even a safety bench. It's not that it's not on the route, it's that you cannot bench.
This split is basically hey, I heard you wanted to become a 106 runner. This is going to dissuade you from that. Slaurent stopping to say hi to Myla. Looking down on Myla is what we all do. Be interesting to see if anyone decides to visit her later in the race, once we've picked up C-Dash perhaps. And to answer a question from chat, the runners are allowed to look at the restream, so there is that element of strategy of okay, I know my lead, so I can play safe, or I know I'm behind, so I know I have to play aggressive. And we'll see that come into play throughout the tournament, especially during closer matches. So also feel free to say hi to the runners. I'm sure they really appreciate it.
So it's minor what Slaurent did, but I think it's worth mentioning. Normally you damage tank that Glimback, or whatever the heck they're called. He decided to kill it, which I think for a race is very smart. I think you just don't want to lose health in this early part of peaks if you can help it.
Yeah, I also think that you go for the damageless lamp pogo here, or just do left side. Yeah, so Slaurent's going to do left side.
Yeah, this damage, I don't think that damage boost saves much time at all. I don't actually.
You can do it damageless, that's actually faster.
I'll Pip that Geo. Okay, he has one
He's
to
one
get.
Short. Just kill the one on the second level through
He got a Geo? What the heck? He has Gathering Storm. I swear he has Gathering Storm.
I didn't even see there was a Geo left.
I know. Yeah, the 2 damage there is actually pretty bad, though.
Yeah, because like we say, you can't even take this bench. Honestly, like, I think you kill the Glimback and then use that to heal too.
You kill the Glimback. Oh, yeah, if you're Pip.
That's 7 swings to kill it, so then you get 2 heals. And then you get the 2 nail swings on the Crystal Hunter on the way to D-Dark, or a nail swing on that, and then not slash on the Glimback in the Dark Room, and you've got enough to not have to slow down for the Mound Dive.
Someone just said damageless cycle. This is not damageless cycle. So I was going to say this is the first time Slaurent took damage in C peaks. It's debatable if you want to take damage here. I'd be a hypocrite if I said not to take damage because I have no idea how to do damageless cycle. But I don't know how much time it saves either.
Damageless cycle is kind of this thing that we say, yeah, if you take damage in peak, that's the damage tank you should skip. It only saves 0.1. But then someone's like, okay, do you want to learn the damageless cycle? And everyone just says no, and they skip a different one.
Then no one ever does damage because no one knows it.
Yeah. It's basically like the meme of like, what do we want to do damageless cycle? When do we want it? When we learn it? When are we going to learn it? Oh, I don't know. Nothing really fits.
I'm busy right now.
Yeah.
It probably takes like 2 minutes to learn. No one ever does it.
I think it's literally just slow down and you don't get hit.
I wouldn't know.
Every time I get off that cycling runs, it's literally impossible. Yeah, the good Dark Room from Slaurent. We'll probably see several deaths to that very room during tournament.
I thought Pip was going for Pogax. Oh my god, Pip's terrifying me. Yeah, a really clean... I mean, I shouldn't say but a really clean peak from Slaurent, assuming he gets D-Dark.
I mean, Slaurent's run, like, current patch as well, which is just garbage. So he's probably used to this split.
Yeah, but this was...
I don't actually think peak's any different on current patch, but I still stand by it's garbage. This is different, though.
I think Slaurent did I mean, other than the intentional damage, damageless peaks, like a completely damageless split from Watcher's Spire to here, other than the 2 intentional damage.
And so what we just saw there looks really wacky, but it's basically sometimes when you hit pickups during certain abilities, you keep some momentum. Sometimes you're invisible and it's considered a major glitch. Sometimes you're not, and it's minor. Now, that might seem like an arbitrary distinction, but to that, I have to say that... So yeah, sorry, coming up to Dream now. And then once we've got Dream Nail, he'll be quitting back to that Spire bench.
Yeah, it's considered a minor glitch. One of the places that, and this is worth mentioning for the tournament, one of the places that you can accidentally do a major glitch, and a lot of people do, Insomnia and myself included, is after Hornet 2. After that cutscene, you can charge dash slash and let go too early, or hit movement, or like a host of other things to accidentally do a major glitch. In this tournament, if that happens, we're just giving a time penalty. Do you know what the time penalty is? It's like 8 seconds or something. Oh, Pip.
I think it's double what it would save, was the general rule of thumb we came up with. So that's one of the deaths that we were saying was absolute worst case. Did Pip make it to C-Dash, or has he got to go top room?
No, it's just before. He tried to do damage cycle. He took the 1 damage to get down to 1 HP, and he was just barely too slow and got hit on the right side of the laser. Which is like, he just barely missed that cycle.
Did he hit... He would have hit the lever, though, so he can go to the CG... through the CG benchway. That might be faster.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention if he had a lever beforehand. He should. Like, the routing has you hit it beforehand. That's really painful, though. It also depends on game knowledge, right? Like, at this point, if I'm in Pip's position, I have no idea where to go. I'd probably just follow the route.
Hey, Pip, if you have audio on, go to the CG room. Thank you.
So Slaurent got his D-Dark. He's going back to Watcher Nights now, which should absolutely melt. This is honestly easier than like most of the... Oh, he's still in the dark room. I didn't realize. Okay, the fight itself is honestly easier than like most of the CP split.
The fight itself, this is basically the fight that was the origin of the saying D-Dark Machine Go Brr, because honestly, if you've come from any percent and you're used to them just bullying you into oblivion, the D-Dark Machine does go brr. It makes the fight like a 35-second cutscene or something. It is very nice. Especially on 1221, because on 1221 you have your D-Dark iframes, and if you start a new cast of D-Dark like that, you're just permanently invincible, whereas on current patch, starting a cast of D-Dark will end your D-Dark iframes early, so you can't just be camping inside an enemy, invincible, loving life. It's a small difference, but it just makes a D-Dark fight really obnoxiously strong.
Yeah, it's a small difference from like a description point of view, but I think it definitely makes a big difference. Like, you play the fight differently.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's a lot more about just go for soul, D-Dark, repeat. In any percent, you actually really want them to roll, because then you can get like triple hit fireballs and stuff. Whereas in all skills, for the most part, it's really just nice when they're stacked up and you can D-Dark them into oblivion and collect soul quicker.
Yeah, so Slaurent had a good fight there. Like, we're done explaining it, and Slaurent's like, yeah, guys, I'm already done with it.
That was really good fight. Really good pattern, but dealt with it really well, sort of thing, which is for a lot of this. Is he just... Okay, so Pip's probably...
I don't know if he...
Not really vibing life at the moment, I think.
I don't know if he wanted to save the grubber. I actually thought that was the CG one. I'm not sure.
And jumping left through that transition here, so these cycles are going to be pretty sketched. This top bug, yep.
Oh, God.
No.
Yeah.
If he dies again here, he is actually going to struggle to finish the run, because... Oh no, he doesn't need that much to go, because you'll get from watching that chest.
Yeah, this is like the one place where geo-wise...
Is he listening? Warmer, colder.
Warm? He got damage boost to warm. He's not here.
Colder.
Oh my God.
Glimback, please.
Yeah, you really want soul here. Nah, Pip's ready. 2 HP is enough HP.
The confidence. I respect it. So I feel like his shade in the final room is going to throw him off.
Oh yeah, I don't even know where it is.
Especially because he doesn't have soul, so he can't just like fireball it.
You can dash slash that chest. Crazy.
Yeah, it's tiny optimization.
You can dash slash like so many things when you have dash slash.
Yeah, it's a real like optimized all skills thing. It's like Dreamers dash slash, breakable walls dash slash, chest dash slash. Whereas like when you watch old runs, they basically never did it, because it was like 0.2 time save, and you could save like 20 seconds just by doing the new route.
Well, Pip is going for the damage cycle again. I mean, granted, who knows the damage this cycle? Oh my God, that was the one he got hit by too.
I think I know why he's so sketch, by the way. It's because he's now I was expecting him to inventory drop into his shade.
Oh no.
But the reason that he's having so much issues with that is there is a conveyor in the middle of the cycle that's moving forwards, and he's jump dashing. He needs to just dash along it, and it'll put him more on cycle.
So Slaurent is on Isma skips now, and this is where Pip could catch up if Slaurent does this long enough. Yeah, so he's at 1 HP. He probably wants to heal. If he struggles with this much more, it might be better to... I don't even know what you do. Okay, he's fine. Would you
There's
just die?
no other alternative.
Like, do you
I think you save quit it.
Yeah, I guess you save quit over dying. But like, it's the same thing, really.
Yeah. Alright, and now this one.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna get some soul to not get pumped.
It's getting chased.
Yeah. And now the last one. This one's pretty comfy if you know the setup.
He's way too low, right?
It's kind of low. No, he does the zoomer one. So you set up this. You just do the dash jump and it pushes you out enough. But I do set up because that's the easy one and the old one.
I don't like new stream. Not allowed.
Exactly. So basically, our commentary is dissolved to like talking shit and hating on new strats.
Hating on fast things. Oh, Pip's at 1
Actually,
HP. He messed up that dash twice. He might get soul off these hunters. These are not the easiest things to get soul from at all.
yeah, the Crystal Hunters are many things, none of them good. But one advantage that 1221 has is they shoot extremely slowly, whereas on current patch they are much meaner and shoot much faster. So it means that especially for this room here, on 1221 they basically never even get a shot off, whereas on current patch you can kind of just get bullied if they decide to put a crystal in the platform that you're about to jump to.
This is not the inventory drop, Slaurent. Actually, that's probably not much slower, because you have to dash all the way left anyway. Pip's going to get to D-Dark. He has 2 HP. To do that strat, he needs to use one of those HP. Like you saw, it's intentional damage, like right after getting D-Dark, and that will prevent him from doing it. I guess he has enough soul he can heal, to be honest. Yeah, he's going to heal. Probably heal anyway.
And sketchy mound, but all is well.
Yeah, he's
There we go. Yeah, that's fine. All right. And now Slaurent coming up to more lurks, which are just basically little RNG factories. Apparently, if you're good enough, they're consistent. I kind of just pray, and then when I get it, I call myself the Morlurk Whisperer. And then when I don't, I say that the game's bullshit and RNG. Slaurent having pretty good Morlurks there, stopping to dive one of them, which is a bit of a safety strat, but I respect it, and getting through that last one as well.
Yeah, it's a nice consistent pogo. And I like the choice to dive there. It is a bit slower, but you save 1 health. And he knows where he is against Pip right now, right? So, like, that time loss is nothing.
Slaurent also just had a lot of soul. I'm not sure where he got it all from, but it meant that the dive didn't really cost him much. He doesn't have 2 fireballs to do a starting strat here, but not a huge difference. He got 1. We take those.
Yeah, in the BB fight, you can cheese pretty heavily once he staggers once. And there's your stagger. You just hit him and D-Dark him, and then he cries and staggers, and then he or you shade soul, whatever. It's not too hard of a fight in that also.
The Broken Vessel's basically made out of tissue paper when you have upgraded spells. The only caveat being that sometimes he just likes to jump on your head for 2 times, and it's very common to go into this fight with 2 health. So, provided you're on like more than 2 health, it's pretty hard to die here, but by that token, I very well may do it.
Nice. So Pip gets the dash there. There's no danger here in Pip falling even at 1 HP. I mean, he'll lose some time, but in the Dream Nail cutscene, you cannot take damage. And we quit out right after Dream Nail, so he's perfectly fine at 1 health here.
Yeah, it's now Slaurent coming up to the hardest fight of the run for new players, which is Hornet 2. Everything we said about Broken Vessel being able to jump on you applies double, plus you're also dodging spikes and needles and her deciding to not get double hit, all the fun stuff. It's, like I say, a pretty tough fight. There is a bench right beforehand that you can take that costs about 10-15 seconds to get, which maybe even less, but it also cuts out a minute 35 of run back if you do die. So very much worth it for especially these early rounds of tournament.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised at all to see Slaurent taking it, especially because he knows his lead.
Yeah, and again, with these early rounds, with the seeds being so different, I think these are a lot of safety strats that we might see earlier, and then runners will forego later. The races get a lot closer. Right now, if you're Slaurent, you definitely take this bench. Or not that bench. Not sure, you can take that bench. I don't care. But the Hornet 2 bench. Like, any safety that you can take with this kind of a lead in a race format, you 100% take. Unless you're close to PB.
Yeah, if you're on PB pace, like, go for it. But, yeah, when there's like a minute difference, you might as well. Also, I haven't seen that Slee Dash before from Slaurent. I'm not sure if it's optimal or whether it's just too zoomer for his own good.
so Pip's struggling a little bit with this first night. You don't really want to take 2 damage. You can heal back up to 4. It shouldn't be too bad. Again, the Dark Machine do go burr. Yeah,
and they're nicely stacked up here.
I don't know if Pip knows that he can spam D-Darks. He seems to be trying to get out of the way, and that time he just kind of stood there.
Yeah, I think he's done a lot more in current patch, because like I said, he's done a lot of AG meme cats.
Is he in the current patch section of all skills? Yeah, he's really struggling with these knights, it seems. He should be fine for the fight, but you can kind of tell by the way he's fighting it that he doesn't seem too experienced with the fight.
Yeah, it's just current patch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, I mean, he obviously knows the general philosophy for the fight, he just doesn't know. Like, say, you can literally pitch a tent inside their hitbox as long as you're diving.
They are allowed to watch the stream, yeah. And this is Hornet 2 from Slaurent, so we just want to see very little damage. It hardly matters how fast he kills Hornet. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he has a nice start. These needle throws are nice too. You can D-Dark her. It gets a lot of counts for the stagger, and when she does that, you can stagger in the corner. You want to get these double Shade Souls, like, he actually wings out of that. He's taken no damage. He hasn't gotten many double Shade Souls, but he's gotten a lot of nail hits and damage, and he should be perfectly fine for this.
This is a good fight. Slaurent's actually had a pretty good run.
Yeah,
what's his
that
PB?
was so good. Yeah. I don't know. I want to see what his split on, like, I'm gonna see what his split for Kingsbrand is here, and then I'll check what his split was on PB.
Yeah, because I think he's got a 56.
Shout out.
I thought he had, yeah, exactly, shout outs.
37-30, okay.
Okay, so about 3 seconds behind.
What?
Or do you mean that?
I was reading out the stream.
Between the two of us, we've got the intelligence of one whole commentator.
I scrolled so far down at any percent looking for a 56-minute time before I realized I was on any percent.
You even run this category.
Oh, he's a 55.
Yeah. So, not shout-outs anymore, unfortunate.
Yeah, shout-out. His Kingsbrand and PB is a 37-22. So he's slightly behind PB, but it's very PBable.
Right. Let's see an Umu one cycle and pull it back.
Did he golded Umu?
Did he one cycle, or is it just he hasn't had a one cycle in a run yet?
You calm the race. I'll just watch Slaurent's PB. I'm not sure. I'll check it out.
Alright, so Slaurent on his way to Helicopter Night. Just a pretty movement heavy split this one. It's nice and comfy before Umu. It's basically like say 2 minutes of movement, and then you get into 2 minutes of RNG bullshit. So it's a sort of nice dichotomy.
Yeah, people do say, like, a lot of people seem to like all skills a lot more than the other cats. It's definitely like the least RNG cat, I'd say.
I think it's interesting spike pogo from Pip, but it works. Like,
he's a rando runner. He's a rando runner.
He really is. So they should be decent from Pip, touchwood. But yeah, I think all skills like the RNG is your time lost to bosses, but it's nowhere near as pronounced. Because it's like, man, my watch nights bounced instead of rolling or something, so I lost 5-6 seconds or something, as opposed to, damn, my Umu just hates me, plus also, like, I don't know, watch nights trolled me, but even harder and for longer because I do bloody, like, 0 damage.
So a strat to point out, sorry. A strat to point out for new runners there that you saw Pip doing, or that you didn't see Pip doing, you can dash off of that platform and then dash back left. And the dash timings just work out, so you end up at the perfect height on that wall to C-dash in the room before this one.
Yeah, Slaurent didn't do it either. It's a really nice, like, making the game work for you, considering HK's input handling is so garbage in 99% of situations. The 1% of the time it actually works out, you might as well make it work for you for once. Pip, that's a C-dash. Rando runner.
We'll get there.
It's because he normally bench warps out at this point.
Oh, does current patch bench? You'd know current patch.
Bench warp is in rando.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a rando thing. I forgot that bench warp was quite, to be honest with you. Where are we? So Pip's entering Vessel. Yeah, Slaurent's anyway. It'll be interesting. If Slaurent doesn't one cycle, it's going to be really hard to have him continue like being close to his PB. If he does one cycle, he's probably right on PB pace. I don't know how good his late game was compared to the rest of his run, but like a 55 is definitely attainable with a one cycle here. It's probably attainable with a 2 cycle too, but it's a lot harder. That one cycle saves you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, it's like 18 seconds saved with one cycle.
Something like that? Question mark?
No, that one I actually know. It actually is 18 on average.
Yeah, I believe you. Insomnia coaching.
They don't come up much, but you know, when they do, I'll let you know. Things I actually know.
Yeah, just make sure to phrase it as, I think it's around that, and then when I question it, be like, actually, it is around that. Pip taking damage to the first Moloch. It's actually hard to... Like, it's pretty difficult to intentionally not take damage on these Molochs, or to, like, do the... What's the word I'm looking for? Intentional? I don't know. To not take damage. It's hard to not take damage. Yeah, nailed it.
It's like, big air quotes, consistent, but realistically you kind of do roughly what feels right, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Pip getting through on that last one there, which is pretty nice.
So it's worth mentioning, and this isn't anything against Pip, this is just kind of a recommendation to newer runners in general. You saw how fast Pip's VS was. I know he was mentioning to me, like, he didn't get out of Green Path in a run, but he had really good VS times. Oh, Slaurent just misses the one cycle there, he's 1 mil head short. But it's really important for new runners, like, just force yourself to complete runs, or at least get past Green Path. It's nice to see your VS time go down from like 3:45 to 3:35 or something like that, but in the long run, it means very little.
Yeah, so we saw that Pip was ahead early and now he's 6 minutes behind. Like, it sucks to continue bad runs, but it sucks even more to not PB because you only see late game once a month.
Yeah, and it really hurts for a race format too. Like, if you can find someone, and there's so many people for this All Skills tournament, right? You should be able to. If you can find someone, just ask them to race and just like force yourself to finish by doing races. I know a lot of people are already doing that. It's a really fun strat.
A lot of people are doing it, and like, we've had people that are trying to get into Hollow Knight speedrunning, and they don't even get to learning the back 80% of the run. They get to like Mothwing Cloak, and they're like, man, this cloak time isn't on pace for, you know, my goal time, which might be sub 40 for any percent or something. And then they just keep on doing that to this arbitrarily high standard, and then get burnt out because, yeah, they're not doing it on a full game and accepting that, you know, it'll get better and better. So sort of, I think consistency throughout the whole run is something that a lot of new players, and this isn't just Pip, like, it would be rude to say it's just him. It certainly isn't, and it's something that, you know, I definitely struggled with. But once you do full game runs, you definitely do notice improvement plus consistency plus more runs make it to late game. So it's just more mentally comfy, basically, because otherwise, you know, there's the classic King's Pass people arrive meme where you just never make it past VS basically for half an hour.
Yeah, and people might get their own mileage from this, but I actually find ILing, like individual leveling, depending on what the split is, some are crap, but like 2-3 minute splits that are fairly enjoyable, trying to get your time down like 15 seconds in those splits, or again, your mileage may vary, it depends on where you are in the run. It could be 15, it could be 5, it could be like 3 minutes. I find that pretty enjoyable too. It's worth a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I know it's not for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it just depends what you're getting out of it as well, and sort of when you are doing those no reset runs that do go pretty red pretty early, it's also just considering what you're getting out of it, you know, whether that's just go for golds and just try and save, get a couple of gold splits or try out stuff that you've tried in practice. Sort of as long as you get a gold, you've improved. If you've done a segment better because you practiced it, you've improved. Even if you haven't done anything good the entire run somehow, if you've at least identified something you've done bad to practice later, you've gotten something out of the run.
Oh, I hate the C-dash. So this C-dash, wait, you can do that from the top? What? Wait, that C-dash is free. I thought you had to do it from the... Yeah, it's slower. It's slower if you do it from the top, right? Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're both slower, plus the bottom way is easier.
Yeah, there are C-dashes you can do that may save marginal time optimally, I'm not sure. But they might not even, and they're also dangerous. How did slaurent get over that guy? Dude, slaurent wants this PB. I just accept that I get hit there. I don't know how to do this room. You can criticize slaurent for the next 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was alright. Really, if you make it through without losing tons of time, you really don't want to get a hazard respawn in that room. If you can do something sketch to avoid it, then worth it, honestly.
I'm discovering the cat. I really am, dude. I'm gonna learn so much from these races. I'm so excited.
Signing up to commentary to learn the run.
Look, I have a decent time. If it's valid. Oh my god, I hate that dash. Pip's playing this fight pretty well. He's not gotten the best RNG, but he hasn't gotten hit in a little bit. Of course, now that I say that, I'm sure he'll get hit 26 times.
And something to note about the Hornet 2 fight in all skills. Why did you open your mouth?
I'm sorry.
When she does the needle throw attack, we want to be getting right in close and doing a D-Dark on her, just because that is 88 damage, so that's a double hit Shade Soul plus a Nail Swing plus 3 damage. So it's really nice to be getting. And Mudpip might be a bit more familiar with the True Ending fight or something, just it seemed like he was using a lot of Shade Soul.
That was a good fight. I actually think Hornet gave him
a good fight,
patterns there. I think surviving that fight is good.
Yeah. Hornet can definitely be a bully. So we sort of saw a really nice Hornet pattern and a not really nice Hornet pattern, but both players dealt with them really well.
I'm going to shift into TE in the middle of his run 100%. It's so likely, dude. I hate that you're right.
All skills plus True Ending speedrun. Just kill Radiance at the end.
Yeah, that's just True Ending with one extra step. I guess you have to get a Sanctum. It's worse True Ending.
You have to get Tear, you have to get Shriek, you have to get
you're playing the only bad parts of all skills.
Yeah, actually.
Which is all bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing different from each category is just what flavor of terrible you want.
Whole reliable shades. I love that meme.
Yeah. Nothing beats that.
Is Viz in this? Yeah, Viz is in this tourney, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame for him not to be.
Alright, now Slaurent coming up to the QG/Hera split. A lot less scary than it is in any percent, but there's a couple of rooms where you can kind of get wombo comboed into spikes by spiders. So hopefully we can avoid any of that nonsense.
Yeah, I think I take a lot of the dark rooms for granted too. It depends how much you run any percent, because again, a lot of these runners are fairly new to all skills, and almost everyone's run any percent. But those late dark rooms, especially for how late they are in the run, there's 3 fairly long dark rooms, or Slaurent gets the damage word, that can be pretty difficult if you don't know where the room is. And if you get hit once, or if you get hit by spikes once you go back to the start of the room, you don't really want to lose damage in those rooms. It can be pretty rough.
Yeah, sort of any percent runners have practiced these rooms that much that they can probably do them with their eyes shut anyway, so the lights being off doesn't really make a difference. Plus you have wings, which is basically the, oh, I missed my jump, let me try again button. So it actually feels almost easier than doing it in any percent, especially because you have D-Dark. So there's one inventory drop onto a spider here where you, in any percent, have to either just risk the damage or you have to cancel your inventory drop and then dash at the right height, which is kind of tricky, but you can just weenie it with D-Dark here, so it's kind of nice.
So it seems to be fine so far. I want to say I really like that cyclone slash. Yeah, that's a safe dive. You like to see it.
Yeah, there's a Zoomer strat where you don't do that and then you kill the Devout on the way out, but no thanks, I like my comfy D-Dark.
It depends on how much health you're at too. I think 4 HP is fairly safe to do it, but if you're anything below that, you definitely don't want it. This is the last
My issue with that one is sometimes you get hit by the spider into spikes and then it puts you back at the start and now you're on 2 health.
Yep.
But yeah, otherwise, like, it's a health thing and a confidence thing as well. You know, first round tournament, there's probably a lot of nerves. Murray giving some commentator advice to people in chat here, and it seems he just wants to make the French restream look good because he's suggesting that people talk about words related to what happens on screen, and I don't know, that seems pretty patently wrong.
Nice to know too. I think Slaurent might be ahead of PB because these last few splits have been really good, and he was only like 8 seconds behind or something.
Yeah, that was like a 1-hit QG, and that was the Thorn Wall.
Oh, I lied. His Hera was 49 flat in PB. Oh yeah, because he got 2 cycle.
Oh yeah. Still a good run for your first one in tournament.
Oh yeah. Within
so you'd be happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think like any top runner would be happy. Like Monster Pisces would be happy with within 22 seconds at Hera. Like that's.
Yeah, sort of finishing within about a minute of your PB, realistically, for first round of tournament is pretty nice. Slaurent was higher seed. Mudpip, not Mip, was unseeded just because they didn't get a PB in time. But sort of Pip is a lot further behind than he would have been just because he took a really unfortunate death in peak. Otherwise, like, both runners have had a pretty solid run. Both had really good Hornet 2 fights and just solid early games.
Yeah, I think Pip's quite fast, like especially for an unseeded runner, obviously. But I think Pip's quite fast. He just needs to like learn, just play the late game a little bit more to where he can get it fairly consistent, and he'll be golden. I
think that just plus some like tournament experience and like just not knowing like backups basically. So if something does go wrong, you're not losing 2 minutes because you died. You're losing 10 seconds to stop and heal too.
Yeah, and backups and all skills can be hard too.
Yeah, especially in peak because a lot of the enemies you can't actually gather soul from because they're lasers or crystal crawlers that are killing you.
This Ken 1 cycle. Okay. Yeah, it didn't work out. That was something. I think he was a little low in the second attack.
Oh, Umu was super low. I don't know. Yeah, what happened? Whether he just got really unfortunate travel distances?
I think Pip led him low on the second Umu attack. He was 1 notch too low on the sidewall.
Yeah, that'll do it. It's no soul. This is a 3 cycle.
Should be. No, I think he can get 2. Oh, if he didn't dash. Damn, that hurts. He was probably nail fireball away because he got a decent damage. I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, that definitely.
You only got 3 hits of Shade Soul on the first cycle, though.
Yeah, it could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, he didn't take Archives bench?
No.
That hurts.
And now getting hit by these stupid enemies in Crossroads for no reason because of RNG is so much more frustrating. Like,
oh my god. This is just
my god. Pip getting bullied. Oh god.
Yeah, he's frustrated now.
Yeah.
I mean, understandably.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this room.
5132 Shade Soul, or Shade Cloak, sorry. Yeah, so Slaurent's almost half a minute behind PB. I don't think he can PB at this point. But it should be a pretty consistent cleanup here. It's hard for him to die, I think.
Yeah, so Pip's basically going to struggle to finish at this point just because he needed that geo for the distant village stag.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really unfortunate. I think at this point, you unironically kill Massive Moss Charger on the way to Great Slash. Just because that's 300 geo.
If you want to continue to. I mean, the runners are always allowed to continue to run. If the other person's already finished, you're fine to stop. You're fine to continue to run if you want to continue to run, assuming we stay within the time frame and everything. But.
Yeah, I think he'll just at least play it out until Slaurent finishes, get Umu down, sort of just at least get the run back, and then sort of see how you're feeling.
Yeah, unless something crazy happens where you're just completely out of the race, like you can't do the all skills route anymore. Like I know, like the 80% equivalent. I don't know if there's an all skills equivalent. The 80% equivalent is like dying to Watcher Knights without taking the King Station bench. We like to see the runners continue to race until the other person's finished. Plus, it feels like more of a quote-unquote legitimate win from the runner who did finish as well. I think it just makes things smoother. But yeah, once the other runner finishes, obviously you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah, like unless you can't continue, it's nice to, like say, just at least play it out till the other person finishes, let them get their win. Plus you just get a bit more tournament practice, even if it's not going well. You know, you might respond a little bit better earlier on, and things might not snowball as much next time. Slaurent has not been doing the Abyss Climb ILs, it would seem.
It was looking really good, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's taken 3 damage already, though.
I think one was pre-climb. I'm not sure.
Yeah, one was, but... Yeah, so this is a Dirtmouth bench moment.
Is it Dirtmouth or Black Egg? Probably Dirtmouth, so you don't have to see that.
Yeah, because otherwise you have to stop.
Pip's back to Umu. So if you see the 2 notches on the right side of Umu, for the first attack, you stay on this top notch like Pip is doing. I think last time Pip went down 2 notches instead of just going down 1 notch. I don't know if he's listening. Yeah, probably.
There we go.
Yeah, Umu actually like went pretty far too, so he should be extra attack.
For the first attack, I also like to be just above center of the top notch instead of at the top. Ooh, this is going to be kind of sketchy. Oh, that pogo probably wasn't great. Yeah, 2 singles. And he's been falling down. He's been using his wings early, I think.
Well, yeah, if you can't get above Umu by the time that Quirrell comes, like, you're just not getting him 1 cycle, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something that might become more important during tournament is, like, also acknowledging when you haven't got the 1 cycle and setting yourself up better to 2 cycle, because in any percent, if you miss the 1 cycle, if you miss the 2 cycle, a scuffed 2 cycle tends to lend itself to a 3 cycle. In fact, that's basically how we recommend runners do 3 cycle. It's just do 2 cycle and miss. Whereas the all skills 1 cycle, it's very easy to. That was actually cool cycling tech. I haven't seen that before. But if you miss 1 cycle, it's very easy for that to snowball.
Alright, so Slaurent coming up to the THK fight now. Another thing to mention, because I know we talked about it before the race, if the runners do end up getting invisible THK or soft blocking at Hornet 1, which are both very unlikely to happen, we do have kind of checks in place. The other runners meant to pause until the person can come back to where they were. So obviously then it would not be allowed on the speedrun leaderboard. It would be an invalid run, but like they're permitted to do it. Or what am I trying to say? If it happens in a race, you're not ruined. Like,
yeah. And if it happens in a race and you're on PB pace, like, you can keep playing it out, but if it happens at Hornet 1, there's still like 42 minutes worth of stuff that can go wrong. So, you know, don't kid yourself. You can have a good pace to hornet all you want.
Another sign
currently,
another sign that Pip might be used to current patch is he didn't skip that cutscene right away. That's a cutscene you can't skip in current patch, but kind of nice to.
Yeah, and Slaurent having the right THK fight. He's a current patch runner as well, so he's probably used to a much faster, much scarier THK. So this is probably a nice leisurely end for him. THK's also been standing in his shrieks pretty nicely. The all skills fight is basically just press up and cast and pray. So when he stands there, it's good. When he doesn't, you can just get bullied. And Slaurent finishing with, so about a 56-40, which is pretty good, especially considering his PBs are 55, so he's within about a minute.
Yeah, his PBs are 55-47, so he is within a minute. Plus his PB was a week ago, and it was over 1 minute time save. So depending on what he's done since then, this could be like his second best time. It's better than his
really
PB.
solid.
Yeah. GG.
I'll mark Slaurent is done, and I'll mark Pip is done as well, and that way he can wrap up if he is.
Yep, entirely up to him. And then what we'll be doing at the end of the races, it's the same as the random or 80% tournament, was we're going to be inviting the runners into here if they want to come. Are we inviting Pip? Probably, right?
Yeah, I think
We're waiting until, I don't know.
I'll just mark him as done, and then we can see what he wants to do.
Here's an invite. It's the commentary Discord. Thank you, Discord. Slaurent. I'm very slow. Mudpip. I'm waiting for the day that I don't have one of these people as a friend, and then they have blocked messages if you're not friends. I've never had that, amazingly, with all the rando and 80% commentating. Can we move him? Oh, can I move him? Am I powerful? Yo, what's up, Slaurent?
Hello.
Hello, GG. Congrats on within a minute of your PB.
Yeah, plus 53 actually at the end.
Plus 53, nice. Yeah, that was a really solid run. Good Hornet 2.
That Hornet 2 was one of the best I've had in weeks. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it feels good to get that in tournament, and I imagine.
Yeah. On the flip side, nobody talk about the Abyss Climb. That never happened.
I see some Abyss Climb ILs in your near future.
Oh, of course.
I think your PB was probably dead then anyway, right? I don't know what your exact time was, but you were plus 30.
I mean, after Hera, I was plus 21.
Yeah, okay.
Which was probably dead at that point.
Yeah, that's a very solid climb or rest of the run plus godlike THK RNG at that point. But yeah, and really good peak too. Hitless outside of the intentional damage tanks.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that one too.
So
hello.
Hey, what's up, Mudpip?
Hey Pip, GG.
GG.
I'm curious, Slaurent, how much you were looking at the restream or Pip stream or whatever, because it definitely seemed like you were doing safety strats. Okay, so just safety strats.
So we were really smart as Slaurent, playing to his advantage here.
No, I would do those safety strats even if I knew I was behind, probably. I mean,
it paid off to get within, like I said, 56 seconds or something in your PB, doing those safety strats. First round of tournament, pretty good.
Yeah, I was unexpectedly very nervous at the start. Hands shaking, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
pretty expected.
First match of the tournament. But, it only gets better from here on out. I mean, same for you, Pip. Your early game, you're actually ahead until, I think, Cloak? Or just before Cloak.
Yeah, you got messed up on boulders. I think you got third spin and force mound.
But, sort of cleaning a couple of things up and maybe a little bit of nerves, and then you should be fine as well.
I'm curious, because we were talking about this, Mudpip, do you know the damageless cycle for Crystal Heart?
I do, and I'm surprised that I died there, because I have to say I have not died there.
Did you do damage? You did damage cycle, right? I think you did damage cycle.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you know damageless is what I meant to
No,
ask.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question correctly.
Also, I think I know why your damage cycle was so sketch at the end. The conveyor that's moving in the right direction, dash along it instead of doing a small hop and then dash, and it makes it a lot more lenient. But like I say, outside of those big couple of unfortunate mistakes or unfortunate bits, it was a really solid run from you as well.
Yeah, I think pace-wise, you're very fast, especially for not having a PB on the leaderboard when the tournament happened.
Yeah, I mean,
is that the case, by the way? I just believed Insomnia, which I should never do.
Yeah, I don't have a run submitted. I've only done completed. Like, this is my third run completed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Understandable.
But yeah, you've got that rainbow player movement. It's just a matter of the all skills specific stuff getting ironed out, and you're all good.
Yeah, Mudpip, I had no idea how good you were gonna be. So if you hadn't posted any PBs in the Discord, I would have been in the dark as to do you have a sub hour? Do you have world record secretly?
Secret. That's the Pest. Pest has second place in true ending, right? With a recorded run that he just is not submitting.
Hasn't submitted, yeah.
Yeah. Kept pulling the secret.
So, I have an unrecorded world record. I'm just playing down my skill.
Yeah. It would just be unfair for you to have first place in every single category.
Yeah.
I think your second round match should be really interesting, Pip, because the way the Swiss bracket works, you're going to play a player that's seated significantly lower than what Slaurent's seated, and I think you are seated lower than you probably should be, just because it seemed like your pace was good and you didn't have a recorded PB. So I think it should be a really good match round 2.
Yeah, I think definitely should be able to pick up a couple of wins later on. So definitely good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a run submitted to the leaderboard for the second round.
Let's go.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to what Mudpip can do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like I say, since this is Swiss, nobody is knocked out, and everyone will be playing 5 matches at least. So should be, like I say, a good chance for these runners to sort of get a bit more familiar with the run and really make some strides, both with their PD and their tournament times.
All right, a little bit of housekeeping. There are more matches today. There are 3 more matches today. The next one is in 40 minutes on this channel. So if you want to stick around, if you want to grab a sandwich, take a bath, you do you. And then the next one will be 2.5 hours after that, still on this channel, the Made SpeedGaming channel. So the next one's commentated by Jamie and Oko. The one after that by Slaurent, who's in call right now, and Scurry, who you may or may not have heard of. And then there's an unimportant one at 8 p.m. between
Yeah. Don't watch that one.
We have Insomnia versus Savi at 8 p.m. The Battle of the HK mods. Or 8 p.m. Eastern, I should say. On SpeedGaming 2, so that's not on this channel. We get a lot.
I didn't realize that was
still be
today.
commentating that one, and Pisces is the former world record holder and one of the tournament organizers, so he should have a lot of insightful things to say about our gameplay instead of just talking rubbish on the microphone for an hour and a half.
But yeah, that's all I have. I don't know if Pip or Slaurent, you guys have anything else?
No, I'm all set.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right, easy as. Then GG to both the runners. Congratulations to Slaurent, and good luck in the rest of your runs, and hopefully viewers will see you for the next one.
GG.